Booyah. There you go. We got Silverstreak, Prowl, and Smokescreen. Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to the Digital Power Workshop. It is I, that's unwanting speeding ticket you always seem to get, Techno Meow Tinkerer. And today we're going to cover, or actually just going to go over a time-lapse video of me creating Prowl, Bluestreak, and Smokescreen in Blender. And without any further ado, let's log on in. Now, it took me a while to actually try to find a close enough view of this car. It's either known as a Nissan Datsun or a Nissan Fairlady Z. Now, I think it's the Datsun 280ZX, whatever. It had like two different names for either the same model or very close to similar model. I don't know that much about cars. I'm trying to research some of this stuff. I've actually kind of learned some stuff, but it took me a while to find a picture where it had like the side, top, and front and back view of it. Because I do have the Silverstreak toy from the Bumblebee toy line, but I noticed that the toy is slightly different on a few of the designs, and this is close to not that much different from the toy, but I figure I'll just go in because it's definitely a lot easier when you have a clearer picture like this to work off of. Now, one thing I've learned about working with here is I still got a lot to learn about Blender. As you'll see in the end, this is not a perfect car. It's not like Hotspot or well, even Blades was a little bit easier, but then again, the Blades I did about 4 or 5 times, so I probably having to work on this guy a couple more times before I get him closely looking like the car. And that's because I need to learn some more tricks and tips and tools of Blender to make this easier, because boy, I got burnt out on doing this. I actually had to take a few weeks off of trying to create this. And I think one reason why is because unlike some of my other ones, especially like Blades, but even Hotspot, I had worked on a basic model shape, so I kind of figured some stuff out ahead of time. In this one, I sat here trying to figure out things as I was going and pausing, recording as I look at the figure and look at some of the old pictures of the old toys, trying to figure out how do I want to do certain things. But one of the issues that really gave me trouble is that the car, unlike something like Hotspot or even Metroplex and Scorpionaut, is not as blocky or square, so it's hard to trying to get some of the things in. And there's still some stuff I'm trying to figure out how Blender does certain stuff. I use a Boolean to cut that out. I actually had to remake the hood quite a couple times. And there might have been some other stuff on it, but sitting here trying to figure out everything. One thing about when you originally do this, and it's kind of like similar when I did with Hotspots, you can kind of go back in and easily remake stuff. And although Hotspot and Metroplex, I don't think I've gone back in and redone any parts, but I know I have reworked some things in Scorpionaut and Blades. Definitely Blades, because it's been about 4 or 5 times I've made him. Because every time I learn something new, I go back and I add, or I go back and work on some of the old things, trying to make it look a little bit better. And like I said, with this, I kind of got burnt out on, and I think it's because of the unusual, more organic shape of the car, I guess you would say, because it's not all straight edges, a rectangle like a fire engine. I went and did a bunch of videos for February to try to get why I was recouping from working on this, because yeah, and this I need to find the tool to figure out how to do some of this stuff easy instead of go through and pick all this stuff. And that's the thing about this right here. So it's going to probably be a while before I do another car. Once I learn some more tools. There's not much I have really to say about this, and other than how frustrating it was trying to do this. I will say this, on the legs, when I go back, I'm probably going to redo them more like the original G1 toy line than the Bumblebee. I understand why they did the Bumblebee the way they did. It's to save on parts. But I just, in the final figure, when I go show it to you, you'll see what I did. making the waist. Now some of this stuff, yeah, it's just repeating some of the other things I've done in the past. And Boolean really came in not healthy, handy a lot in this thing because it allowed me to actually create the coveys without having to actually go in and extrude in and stuff like that. So it did speed that stuff up. The windshield was difficult, and I still don't got it looking great. Trying to get the hood of the car around, and I use booleans a lot to cheat on some stuff. I tried to create the fender well and did not want to work out for me. So I would have to probably do that something a bit differently. Now here's where I definitely focused a lot on the toy, because on my toy figure I got, I should say, is doing these arms, trying to figure out the placement of everything. I have theorized maybe I could create the seats to go on the back of these characters so it looks like an actual vehicle, and figure out how to fold them up. This is just me wanting to be more overcomplicated than what really needs to be. Because if you're going to actually do an animation of this, you will want to probably have something like what I'm doing now with the figure where it can transform from the vehicle, and then you want a separate vehicle to have as the actual one that drives around with someone sitting. Oh yeah, now this was tricky, trying to get everything to line up for that one hinge to connect to that part, because on the Bumblebee toy, the back trunk as the shin of the leg, and it kind of is in the toy of G1, but G1 actually has a leg and it's more like a shin guard than it is the actual shin. The newer one, it's the shin. And so I did that, and what does that mean could do? But one thing, if I go back to using the G1 style, it'll actually have free up the trunk to be actually used more as a trunk. I can kind of get away with some of the stuff if I was to model like this, but if I go and do the G1 style, it would actually make the trunk more usable. So when I go to recreate this guy, I may actually just do that. Yeah, trying to create those lights. The front of the car ended up looking very boxy, more like one of those little soapbox derby cars than an actual car. And there is a way you can bend that's not bevel, but it can kind of create a sort of like bevel, a slight curve, and that's what the front needs. The front needs a bit more curve, and I could probably have done the bevel on the edge. Oh yeah, here's where I recreated the hood, because some things weren't lining up. Now there is one thing, when you see the little latch that opens up for the head to go through, I actually have made it too long. And yet for some reason on the toy it is actually shorter. I got it kind of set where it is for the fender wells, but it might be because the toy may actually has a shorter front of the car. I don't know what you call the actual front where the engine sits in underneath the hood. It might actually have a shorter hood or something, in my reason why. Yeah, trying to figure out all these little nooks, because there's I gotta redo the doors, because like I said, Prowl, Bluestreak, and Smokescreen, this was the most frustrating of all the ones I've done. Oh yeah, here's the actual figure. Silver Streak is what this figure was called. I think it's supposed to be because based on the original Bluestreak toy design. And I ended up doing him a bit different than some other heads. I've actually made the face and the helmet piece two separate pieces. I don't know, did I do that with Metroplex? I can't remember. Because normally I try to make it all one piece, but in this case I figure it'd be just easier to do two separate pieces for the start, and then when I go back and recreate, I could probably be then easy to make it all one piece. Now I did design the horns of the helmet a bit more like the toy than the actual cartoon, because in the cartoon it's a bit more thinner, and I may go back and make it thinner, but for right now is just trying to get everything in there and clean up all these lines. I did use the bevel to help create the roundness of the helmet. That was helpful. And yeah, trying to get all this stuff all cleaned up. For me, for some reason, I don't know, in Blender, it might have been just back with me originally using Lightwave when I was first learning. I just want to try to keep as few, I guess you could say, polygons than what is needed, or what's needed. As basically, if it needs to be a curve, keep as many as it is to create the curve, but it's a flat surface, keep it as simple as possible. I know with some engines, I want to say this engines, I know like with VR chat they talk about polygon, and like stuff like my hair usually here is usually full of it that can slow down. I've heard especially people creating stuff for video games in Blender, some characters to keep the poly count down. And yeah, the Boolean actually has come real nice and handy on making stuff and joining parts together, so that's real nice. I still don't know what effect it will have when it goes to actually rendering out animation. Like I said, there's still a lot to do. And I could not find out. Here I'm creating the glass, but if you watch my Metroplex, you know there is a specific glass style I like. And it does not I could not find the alpha blend here in this version of Blender, because this is the version 4.2.1 LTS, and the other one was like one of the Blender 3 versions, I can't remember. And I'm not too thrilled with how things are looking in this one. I still got the old Blender lined up, so when I might end up starting just doing some of these in the older Blender, because I like the way it looks on screen as I'm working. Because then this, well, let's now see the final result of my hard work. Booyah! I'm gonna get myself out of the way. Booyah! There you go. We got Silverstreak, Prowl, and Smokescreen. And like I said, it looks very boxcar-like on the front, and that's just due to the fact that I got to figure out what tool I need to do to help make it smooth. And the underside carriage, each one with their little face. I still have yet to figure out how I'm going to do mouths on these characters, and we kind of see, and as you can see, the cockpit, not what cockpit, but the cab, the inside of it is still very spacious, where I could actually go through, as we look in here, and like, yeah, I could probably put some seats, do something on the back side here to put some seats, maybe have them fold up a certain way. I have not installed the hinge joint that connects the roof here to the, not really chest, but the center part of the body, the inner torso. As you can see here with the, like I said, it just looks weird the way the glass is working in this version of Blender that compared to 30. But like you see, I got all that space back there for the trunk. If I do the legs like G1, it would actually free up some of that stuff. Can't see it quite as well because of the both Prowls, a lot of the central color. You can kind of see a little bit in Smokescreen. Now, one thing with Smokescreen I'm not sure about is what color to put these, because the toy, G1 toy, is not clear, and then of course some of the artwork I have downloaded offline it is a very simplistic, just like goes from this wheel straight to this part of the arm. So I may have to go through some of the old animations episodes and take a look and see what it is. And then we'll just go. I only did let's see, yeah, Prowl. I only don't need to save you. I only did transform Prowl. Now I didn't bring my default hands in because really I just want to redo them, because they look like a skeleton on these figures. But like I said, you see right there, I kind of got that big. Maybe, I don't know. Let me see if it's just the fact I didn't push this back far enough. Did I push that back far? No, I had that back far enough. I just didn't need all that extra space. Unless I need to move the back there, because you see I don't have the hinge joint. And like I said, I'm not too crazy about how this looks. especially when you look at it from the side. I mean, I can kind of see what they were going for the toy, and for some reason the toy looks better than what I got. I don't 100% understand why. And so there's going to be a lot of stuff I need to redo and rechange. Got to fix this joint here, figure out how to make it. Now, part of what I did to do is end up moving these lines in to actually get it where it's a bit more spare. I didn't realize. Let's get it right. I didn't realize something. I got y'all a little too high. Bring y'all on down. I don't know y'all about right for the back. No. Mine. Grab and Z. There we go. Get that look a little bit better. But at least that was my first attempt at doing Prowl Smokescreen. Yeah, if you're wondering why that's wacky like that, is because when these legs come up, they were actually going into this piece, and so I need to go in and fix that. It's one thing about at least having everything as a parent. You can kind of get stuff now. I think I probably know what I did, the reason why. Some stuff looks wacky, like even that's off. Both of those, I need to go in. That's because I made the mistake of lining I parented it up before, making sure I have all my origin points lined up where they need to be, and so I didn't get some stuff back where it is. But at least to kind of get an idea of where I need to improve that. The one thing is, I am kind of I guess I'm kind of pleased with how the legs, or at least that part of the car, turned out, even though I still need to fix. I wonder, I need to take a look at the toy. I might just have it where the wheels just fold up into it. That's part of what I may end up needing to do. But this is my first attempt at Prowl, Smokescreen, and Bluestreak. And I could have done Silverstreak. Now, there's actually a couple GoBots that uses this same car, but I thought about coloring a couple of these after those, but I'm not 1% sure yet if I want to do that. But yeah, for the most part, that is it. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. I know it'll end up being me more ranting about how frustrating trying to do this is and how much more I need to learn how to do Blender. But you can go check out some of my other time-lapse videos where I do a little bit better explaining about some of the stuff I was going on. Of course, Blades being my first one. I did do Scorponaut, Metroplex, and Hotspot. Also, you can check out my Blender tutorial videos if you want to start learning how to use Blender for different projects. But if you like my content and you want to help support the channel, please like and subscribe and share this with anyone you think might find it interesting. Have a nice day.